Hello, I'm Sonicguru, and welcome back to Doctor Who podcast. This time Series A, Episode 1, Deep Breath. With me are my friends VG Retro and Nikki17, although it doesn't go by that on YouTube anyway.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, after 8 months, about 8 months.
Well, since the Christmas one, at least.
Yeah, so 8 months, yeah.
Right. Was it worth it? A big question that way. Was it worth it? Was it worth the wait?
Yes and no. It was a good.
Go on.
In my opinion, it was a good story, but the first 25 minutes were incredibly dull. So, yes and no.
Well, then it has to build up, really. I mean, other first episode of of the new Doctors aren't exactly gripping straight away, thinking, "Who the fuck's this Johnny who got things he can waltz around as the previous Doctor?"
That's always the big concern when we start the series off with a new face. Is always, okay, are we going to like him by the end of this story?
I just think my big problem with that, though, was Capaldi is Peter Capaldi. He's an older actor playing the Doctor. You know, that's cool, but the problem was the bit where he was going through his whole babbling thing before passing out on the shore of the Thames at the beginning of the episode. It just felt like it was written for a much younger actor in mind. Like, that was the kind of behavior, this dialogue he was coming out with, it was very reminiscent of Matt Smith. Now, you could argue that this is just the remnants of his regeneration, but for me, it was very disorienting seeing an older, sophisticated-looking character that the Doctor appears to have regenerated into talking like this, and it just didn't work for me. It just came across as, well, forced comedy.
Well, I would say it wasn't unexpected. I mean, Matt Smith did the thing with Amelia Pond just being ridiculous with fish custard, and David Tennant kind of came out, kind of acting a bit of like Chris Eccleston. Saying, "Oh wait, where was it? Oh yeah, Merry Christmas." Then passes out.
Yeah,
because that's what Eccleston would have done.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it wasn't. I guess it's the third time now. It's not unexpected, but I would say it kind of dragged on a bit. Because first of all, we've got a big T-Rex in the Thames, so
yeah,
there's that.
I was actually going to say the one thing about this episode I thought was at point I thought like this is dragging on a bit. Some of the scenes really dragged on. I mean, this was episode.
Yeah, I think that's the problem when your first episode is 75 minutes long. You kind of want to fill the gap.
That's something, that kind of running time should be reserved for a special. 75 minutes just doesn't work for a story that really only suits an hour at best.
Or even less. This could have fit a standard 45 minutes.
It is one of those.
And this was in cinema as well.
Thing is, this is actually one of those things I agree with Mr. TARDIS about. Doctor Who is, yeah, I know, but never mind. Doctor Who is a show that should actually have each episode running at an hour because of the content that they have to cut. Like, Nightmare.
It's either A, it drags on too long, or B, there is way too much and it goes too fast.
Yeah, like in, for instance, Dan, you didn't see Nightmare in Silver, did you?
No, it's just like, you got two kids who are going to be pretty much egotistical. I want to do this, I want to do that. And that put me off straight away. I didn't want to watch that.
It was alright. The girl, I just wanted to beat the shit out of, really.
However, there are a couple of things in that story that didn't quite make sense. And according to Neil Gaiman, explanations for the said errors, I can't remember what they were now, were actually in the script, only Stephen Moffat had to cut them to keep with 45 minutes. That extra 15 minutes wouldn't really kill anything. And I really do think that the BBC should consider that for the future, that each episode should be an hour instead of just 45 minutes. It doesn't really work anymore because, you know, in the past, Doctor Who has always been hailed as a serial, but if Stephen Moffat is going to go with the standalone episodes permanent gimmick, he really does need to consider that the episodes need to be made longer. I think he's bringing back
2 parts this season, isn't he?
There is one 2-parter near the end, or at least it's like got the same story code.
Well, back to 13. Is it a 12 or 13 episode run this
13.
Yeah.
It's 12,
back to that,
12 episodes this year.
Bollocks.
Anyway, it's back to, you know, an episode each Saturday rather than 5 or 6 for a little time and then a big period off and then back again later in the year.
I hope that stays, because for someone who got into Doctor Who for the first time in 2012, my first series on TV only got 5 episodes before a 6-month gap.
Which then became its own sub-series, even though it's Series 7 Part 2, in the next fucking year.
It just... There's no point in doing that.
No, because it just drags on. I know it's trying to fill the whole year of Doctor Who, but just keep it concise.
I think the main reason was because trying to get the audience in the right time, because, again, wasn't Series 7 Part 1 in the spring, and then Part 2...
It was...
No, it was September. It was... All 5 episodes were shown in September.
Oh, yeah. Then it was about... I guess what? March or May.
It was March. It was March
Yeah.
because The Name of the Doctor was broadcast in May.
Yeah.
See, get the dates right, but it was just all jumbled up.
Yeah. Again, it's just part of it, I think, was just trying to get, ideally, the biggest audience, so...
And this time it's now got August, and it's just before the school rush. So at least kids have something to look forward to at the end of the week.
Yeah. Also, Doctor Who's like a big hit on the iPlayer anyway, so there's always going to be that for it.
Yeah, apparently it's been hailed as the most saddest show on TV.
Really? I mean, at points it can be, but...
Speaking of this, let's go back on the rail towards Deep Breath. This is about Deep Breath.
Yeah.
So, new Doctor, Babbles... We've got the gang again. We've got the gang. We've got Vastra, we've got Jenny, we've got Strax.
I think the main thing we should come out of this is we should talk about, obviously, Peter, the title and theme song, what Clara have to go through, also Vastra, Strax, and...
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Clockwork People, again, and the new theme for the series.
I do agree with that, but there is actually a lot with Vastra, Strax, and Jenny, which I actually really do have a lot of trouble with this time around.
You do?
Yeah. We know that Jenny and Vastra are in love. We know that they're married, but
Yeah.
it seems to keep forcing that point across, and then... Okay, I'm giving this one away. It is a spoiler, but I have to say it now because...
We're spoiling the entire episode about most details, so who gives a fuck?
I mean, we're recording this Friday, so
I-
we're literally before the next story, so whatever.
Yeah, I have to say this right now because it really, really... I didn't show it when you and I were watching it, Dan, but it really did fuck me off. The kiss.
Yeah, 6 people complain about that.
This is 6.
Just 6.
It's just 6 people.
And they're not investigating it. Because...
7, if you count me. But the point was, right, yeah, I know they're in love, and I've got nothing against that, but the point was, Moffat only included that to shock people with a lesbian kiss, and...
Technically, it's not really a kiss, considering she had large air lung reserves to actually help them, which, again, we'll get to later. So it's not really technically a kiss, it's more like sharing air.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
we'll get to that.
Bullshit. He did that simply to show the kiss.
Who cares? If they're a lesbian couple, they're a married lesbian couple, they're a married lesbian couple. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
because considering in June last year, same-sex marriages are legal in Britain.
Yeah, we know.
So,
we know.
Honestly, personally, I don't care.
Give me a chance. We know that, but he's just forcing it on. He's like, every time they appear. By the way, we're lesbians. Every single time that Vastra, Strax, and Jenny have appeared.
Well, I was
not doing it flat out, Mike. It's like suggestive. It's like they actually are a couple and actually expressing it.
Yeah, but every single episode in which they appear, they start annoying people.
Not really, because everyone wanted to see these two together. Because I would say fan fiction. Then again, actually seeing them be a loving couple rather than just a maid and master is what the previous 2 times they were. They said they were married, but never actually shoved it in our faces. This is the first time they've actually shown genuine compassion for each other.
Yeah, well, I just hope that they tone it down next time in favour of an actual action story, which is what Doctor Who's supposed to be about.
I think they will. I mean,
I think you'd actually disagree with that because now it's being more of a character drama and less running around.
It just occurred to me on this occasion that Moffat decided, well, since we can't have a younger Doctor for the fans to have sexual thoughts over, we'll just introduce these 2 lesbians just so that they've got something. And it kind of goes against the whole point of the episode, which is judging the older Doctor. To me, it kind of goes against that.
I think you're thinking too much into this.
I mean,
I'm not.
At the end of the day, it's just... I mean, the point was that Mike was right in some cases that it did every time they did appear. It's like, we're lesbians, get it? But I don't hate them or anything. I mean, again, I understand they've been like.
I don't think they ever did it. I think they did it. Only the previous 2 times in the Snowman and Name of the Doctor.
I was going to say Name of the Doctor. That's the first. That's when you get to see the whole bit of well, first of all, she gets killed by the Whispermen, and then supposedly is still there because the Doctor wasn't there in the first place. That alone, I thought, okay, I can see the genuine love for each other, or the sort of relationship they have with each other.
Yeah, that's like a small taster. Here, it was actually more expressive, and this is what a couple would do.
But at the end of the day, it's just, the characters. I mean, to be honest, the fact they're allowing this on Doctor Who now, instead of like if they did this in the 80s, there would have been a bigger uproar. Let's be honest.
They got apparently the writers in the Doctor Who comic got complained about 2 companions kissing.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Wrote back to them saying that was a great idea, Russell T Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wonderful people. I love you.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Mind you, it's not as often as in like Torchwood or where is it?
Captain
Jack. Every Captain Jack. Compared to what he did in all of he
did fucked.
all he did.
What he did.
This is fucking tame, okay?
Yeah. I mean, Captain Jack's done it with everything, any time, any space, everywhere.
I really honestly have nothing against the whole idea, but just because they're allowed to do it now, it really doesn't mean that they should, unless it's got a very important, valid point, because it just felt like an excuse to me. That's all I want to say. It's just a nitpick, but honestly, I felt like they did it.
I think it's just for this
just for the sake
Can we go back and talk about the dinosaur, please?
Yeah, that was actually the main thing. Yeah, that was my worry, because I thought...
Because that was in the trailer. That was in every single fucking trailer of Doctor Who.
That's the big reveal for the whole episode was we got a T-Rex in
We got a T-Rex in here. A female T-Rex, to be precise.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all about this massive T-Rex. This 75-minute Doctor Who is going to involve this massive, amazing CGI T-Rex.
No.
For 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
No.
It dies. It's spontaneous combustion. The dinosaur dies.
Yeah, I knew that was probably going to happen. I mean, first of all, I thought, I bet...
I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting just the Doctor's being able to talk dinosaur. Of course he can. He can also talk baby.
Talking dinosaur would be very handy for Invasion of the Dinosaurs, because
he might have
quite a bit of trouble with that one.
He might have picked it up in the 2,000 years travelling.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's how old he is now.
Maybe he couldn't communicate with them because their special effects were fucking awful.
Well, that's the difference, really, from old Doctor Who. In fact, I want to bring up something later on, but...
Invasion of the Dinosaurs was a terrific story, but as far as, T-Rex dinosaurs go, this one was only in it for, 10 minutes, and it was a bit more, it looked 10 times better.
Yeah. There's a point I want to bring up later on, but continue anyway.
Yeah, but... I'm trying to combine the other time dinosaurs were on this was dinosaurs on a spaceship, and they killed off the Triceratops, and that was sad. It really was. It chased golf balls. That was adorable.
They rode on it in the back.
This one, the Doctor's screaming to it, "I'll take you back home."
Somehow.
I'm sorry. Somehow he is, and all of a sudden, spontaneous combustion. Dinosaur dies. A dinosaur being burned to ashes in the fucking Thames. What the fuck? That was a lot more depressing.
Maybe it was eating a jam sandwich, Dan. He knows what that means, everybody.
That's your death wish.
He accidentally and he quite horrifically and not undeliberately spontaneously combusted whilst eating a jam sandwich. That was Blackadder for brutally stabbing himself in the stomach while shaving and accidentally cutting his head off while combing his hair.
But yeah, to be honest, I had the feeling it was only going to be there for a while because I bet the effects budget went, how many shots can we have in this episode? A few. Well, probably this. Well, how much would it cost? A lot. Right.
That's the BBC budget estimation? Just a lot?
A lot.
Anyway.
Yes, Daniel, anyway.
About the new Doctor, about his reaction to himself. And Elizabeth Sladen's husband. That's who he was. That's what the tramp was.
Really?
Yeah, that was Elizabeth Sladen's husband.
What? I never knew. Wow. You're surprised. You're supposed to be an expert on this now, mister.
No, he's classic Who. I got the new Who.
I know, but again, you should know this stuff anyway about, who did what, when, where, who's related to who.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Elizabeth Sladen's personal life, so...
Yeah.
Hell, you're the guy who met her.
Yeah, I did meet her once, but
not too sure which husband it is. Not too sure if she's divorced or not. But yeah, that.
Well, since she's passed on, it's going to be either one.
Yeah, I would say widow, but that kind of seems like more of a female thing.
Yeah.
That's sexist. Probably is.
You can actually say widowed husband.
Okay, widow's husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah. Let's say when he's actually talking about himself, it's like the eyebrows can actually open be a bottle tops.
Didn't you say also the eyebrows, they can have their own continent or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit.
Continent. Look at the lines.
Where did these lines come from? I bet you, because one of the things everybody keeps bringing up when Peter was announced was everybody saying, "Oh, he was in Fires of Pompeii." It's like, yeah, we know that. And again,
Yeah, everyone complains. Yet.
Yeah, and Colin Baker was in Arc of Infinity, but that didn't happen.
Point for me, trying to make, unless that little bit is like a hint to possibly, because he did say, where did this face come from? I think he said something like that. It could be a hint to saying that I got this face somehow by somebody I met before. In fact, there's a whole thing where he keeps saying, I can't remember where I've seen this before, but I don't know where and when, which does play later on in the episode. But again, funny enough, no one ever brings up he was also in Torchwood Children of Earth, because I remember that, and he was Prime Minister to talk in the 456, and by the end of it, he has to kill his own kids because he doesn't want them to be turned into slaves to this hideous creature.
Tell you one thing I really
using
liked.
kids as drugs.
Tell you one thing I liked about Capaldi as well. Unlike his performance in Fires of Pompeii, here he's actually allowed to maintain his Scottish accent.
Yeah, he does make a thing saying, I'm Scottish.
I'm Scottish. Well, I can be rude. I can complain.
No, he's
I'm
already...
not too sure if that was Scottish or Welsh.
Well, it certainly wasn't Welsh. Believe me, I am Welsh. I know.
Says the expert.
Well, I am Welsh. Anyway, I did find it amusing, but obviously that's something on the part of Stephen Moffat, who is also Scottish. But every time I hear him with his Scottish accent, all I'm thinking in the back of my head, just like everyone else was when Aldi was announced, the thick of it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, you fat bastard!
Yeah. I never actually saw the thick of it.
Go back to the
I know he was in. Yeah.
Go back to the remnants of Scarrow, you Dalek cunt! If he doesn't say
he's going to face the Dalek in the next episode, so...
If he doesn't say that tomorrow, I'm going to be pissed. Oh, you're a Cyberman, are you? Oh, fucking look at me. Do I show any fucking emotion? No, I don't. Now get your ass back to wherever the hell it is you came from. Oh, Mondas. Go back to fucking Mondas. Oh, wait, shit, you can't go back to Mondas. I fucking blew it up.
I wonder where the fucking continuity is this time.
There's a little 10th Planet reference for everybody.
Anyway, going back to Jenny Vastra and Strax, they actually got into involvement with Clara because she's basically like us. The companion's basically the human interaction, the one who asks questions. Really,
it's either ask questions or get captured, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's the only reason why Tom Baker wasn't allowed to do it solo, because the audience needs a voice on the show.
It's like a human relation, really. You just relate to him, even though you still like him, and sometimes you want to get the shit out of them. Rose.
Adric.
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah. But the point in this story, it's really, most of the story is actually her having to deal with, this is a new man, this is a different personality, and she doesn't really know him anymore.
Yeah, it's like, and it comes around in full circle towards the end. And basically the whole argument you have with Mr. TARDIS is Vastra's veil that she wears. And how
I fucking loved that. That was
how that represents. That's the face you see. That's what you see.
Yeah.
Not that's what you see. That way can actually just be accepted.
Yeah.
It's just that was like just a symbolic way of like judging appearances by their appearances and not by who they are. And gradually, the next shot shows that she's not wearing the veil. When did you stop wearing the veil? When you stop seeing
noticing it. Yeah.
And of course, that was brilliant writing, and that just showed like the very symbolic don't judge appearances, which is one thing that the Doctor Who fangirls were always doing. But one thing that really pissed me off.
Yeah, because I like him white because I can fuck him.
Yes. One thing that really pissed me off, though, about what Mr. TARDIS was saying is the way he was talking about it, like all these fake text boxes, is like, like with Vastra saying to Clara in his statement at least, please say that you like this, please say it's very clever. And it's like, once again, he's trying to hate it and he's trying to bash Moffat just for the sake of bashing Moffat.
Yeah, she could have taken it off between
because he
shots,
put
but then
shot.
again, it's...
And
you
of
could have
course, of course, he had to argue as well that he and his fans were arguing against me, saying that if he sees bullshit, he's going to call it out. But no other writer in Doctor Who gets this treatment. It's only ever Moffat. And yes, he's the showrunner.
Russell used to get this shit a lot.
I just think it's ridiculous how everyone...
Russell gets the entire spectrum of the episode.
Why does Stephen Moffat, to some people, suddenly get the same treatment John Nathan Turner did? I mean,
I want to bring up...
Because of what he did and what he's actually capable of, like Sherlock, Sherlock got 3 awards at the I think it was BAFTAs or whatever.
Yeah,
3 awards. He got Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Writer. He wasn't expecting to get those. So he's got 2 shows going on. He's a showrunner, and people expect better of him. So when there's little things that go wrong, fair enough. But then again, you don't delve to the depths to treat him like you fucked up. F, go stand in the corner. You don't do that. It's like it could have been a slip up. It could have been a bit of an editing flop. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is
one of my favourite parts is sorry, Nikki. Right, when I finished here, Nikki's turn. One thing I find really amusing is you get a lot of these like stupid American people who post.
Not all Americans.
There's
There's
not
not
all
about it.
Okay, yeah. There was one American statement I did read. Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against Americans liking Doctor Who. They can love it if they want. It's popular all around the world now. But what I was trying to say was, this is where I went wrong here. There is one American blogger, and he got a lot of flack because the current series of Doctor Who didn't appeal to him. So instead of him suggesting it go on hiatus or they get a different producer, different actor, different writer, he said that the best way for Doctor Who to survive, Dan knows this one, is to just cancel it. Save Doctor Who by cancelling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some other dickhole had that idea. What was his name? It rhymes with dickhead. Michael Grade.
I was going to say arsehole. I was going to say it sounds more close to arsehole, but that was close enough.
Yeah. The last time they tried to save Doctor Who by getting it on hiatus, it didn't come back for a very.
No, they tried like doing different things with it. They tried bring it back, but got rid of it, brought it back, and tried fixing it until it wasn't Doctor Who anymore.
And
They eventually, once it got focused and thought, okay, this is what Doctor Who is now.
I know.
They cancelled it.
I know. Let's put it alongside Coronation Street.
Yeah, and they got no views.
Do you know
they got less views than the fucking Twin Dilemma. And they just cancelled it when it was going so well. When they got focus, when everything was tied together, they just cancelled it outright.
Yeah.
On November something 89.
It was
89,
December.
yeah.
It was December 6th of December.
No, the last episode of Survival came on November.
Yeah, I'm sure it was December 6th.
It was November. I looked back at Survival. It said November
Anyway.
89.
Do you know what Michael Grade's excuse was for airing it alongside Coronation Street?
He wanted it to suffer.
No. Well, okay, he did, but that wasn't the official story. What he actually said was that both programs are so completely different that there's no point putting them on at separate time slots because like the viewer will have to choose which one they want. Not, if you like Doctor Who, that doesn't mean that you can't like Coronation Street. So it means that the kids would be watching Doctor Who, and the parents would want to watch Coronation Street. So the kids, these are in the words of Sci-Fi Debris, who says it's way better than anybody, including Nash, even though I love Nash. This meant that kids would either have to miss the episode or watch it on a second set, one where the viewing figures weren't counted, and that's why the viewing figures were so low. They could have had the same amount of viewers, but because it was being shown at the same time as Coronation Street, they had to watch it on separate sets, so it only showed 3 million or 4 million every time. That's what killed it in the end. And also the fact that John Nathan Turner wanted to move on, but nobody
he was
wanted.
just forced into it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was forced to stay on because nobody wanted to buy Doctor Who.
Yeah, it was
And the Tom and Baker who wanted to stay on, at least for a full episode, for his own, regeneration, they said no.
yeah. I mean, the phone call was, it's coming back, but they not want to use you anymore, so...
Yeah, like they were going to force him to regenerate at the end of Time in the Rani Part 1, and he just said, look, just let me do Time in the Rani, and then,
do whatever you want.
But they said no, so he didn't come back, and quite right, because, if I was being pushed around by the producers for something I didn't do wrong, I'd probably say the same thing. I probably wouldn't go back. And of course, what did they do? Sylvester McCoy in a wig.
Was it on for long?
I gotta say, moving hastily along back on the deep breath.
Oh, didn't you have something to say, Nikki?
Yeah, this will get back onto Deep Breath, don't worry. The thing with Stephen Moffat is, of course, he's the public figure in terms of in charge of Doctor Who, right? So obviously people are going to say, when it's good, he's going to get the awards. When it's bad, he's going to get sometimes the blame. Not every episode, because as we know, Doctor Who is written by different writers and all that stuff. And the funny thing was that I remember the first time when they announced he was going to be the guy taking over Doctor Who from Russell T Davies. I even remember people having T-shirts saying, "In Moffat we trust." And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, but now he's the showrunner. That means not everything every episode he's going to do. They're not all going to be these magnificent, brilliant episodes that before, because he was just a writer during Russell's reign.
Personally, people praise Girl in the Fireplace. I don't think that's that great of an episode.
All right, fair again. But the point was that he was just a writer, and everybody thought, oh, clearly, because he's such a good writer. But again, as a showrunner, means you have to look over everything of Doctor Who, pretty much. So again,
like I said, it could be a small flub, and that's about it. You could have just missed it. But again, people that Mr. TARDIS failed to see the point of the veil.
Yeah, the point is, it's like pretty much just like we have a target. It's pretty much they want when people get pissed off at something, they want a target, and for them, it's like, well, he's the boss, therefore use him. And I think that's always a hard thing because
it kind of makes sense because you can't just complain about the employee when the actual manager is supposed to be in charge of them.
Yeah.
One of my favourite ones, off topic, but one of my favourite points of criticism in the part of what Nikki was just saying then. You know how Kingdom of the Crystal Skull has a mixed bag, is regarded as a mixed bag?
A lot of people
I like it. I like it.
I love that film. I don't think there's anything different in that.
I'd rather watch that than the prequels. I'd rather watch that than Star Wars Episode 3, and I love Star Wars Episode 3.
Yeah.
It's the best of the prequels.
But,
right.
yeah, and like I was saying, I think Temple of Doom's the worst indie film. I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is just as good as Raiders and Last Crusade. But my point is, those who hated it went onto this major hatred tangent against Steven Spielberg, which always kind of annoyed me, considering it was George Lucas's film and not Steven Spielberg. Spielberg was involved, yeah. Like he always is.
He produced it, didn't he?
Well, they both did it. It's their thing.
I think Spielberg directed it, but it was actually George Lucas's film.
Directed it.
And a lot of people...
Oh, yeah, he directed it, yeah. But the story was by George Lucas and Jeff Nathanson.
Yeah, but the one thing I will acknowledge though for that was a lot of people criticised Spielberg for the fridge nuking scene.
Do you know who to blame for that? Blame David Coep.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a screenwriter. Yeah,
actually, that's what you think, right?
That's a screenplay.
But
yeah.
That scene was actually Spielberg's idea. He thought it would be funny. But
it was.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
is it any like everyone talked about it being ridiculous and unrealistic? Is it any more unrealistic than falling out of a rubber
train
raft?
ride people do. I mean, for God's sake, you look at that and you think, what the hell? What kind of
people try to bring realistic thinking. If someone was in the fridge and they launched it, he would be completely broken every bone in his body.
And also, it's the last thing. It's like you can see him. He's like, there's nothing there to get him out of this situation. That's the whole point of Indiana Jones. He gets out by the skin of his teeth.
What about jumping out of a plane like with nothing but a rubber dinghy?
With a raft with two other people in it.
And then going off a waterfall, and then off another waterfall.
Yeah, all getting off the tank without it falling off from him not supposed to be on it.
I just think people get more criticism than they should, and this, of course, leads us back to where we were.
Yeah.
I still think that was a very well written scene, and there are just some people who are just going out of their way to criticize it just because they don't like it, basically, because it's not the same Doctor Who they grew up with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, the thing about
it obviously isn't. That's the whole point of this episode. It's like, here's a new Doctor, here's what he is. We've seen him complain, we've seen him actually be confused about what he is, we've seen him realise what he can do now. Like, oh, this Scottish, he can now complain legally, rather than being English and complaining because that sounds like a prick.
Yeah.
Or like Hartnell.
Yeah.
And Clara coming to terms saying, he doesn't look like the same person, but that's a different face. He's still the Doctor. No matter how you look at it, he's still a Doctor.
Yeah.
Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, Baker, Davidson,
Same
Baker,
faces.
McCoy, McGann, Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, all the same character.
Yeah.
It's like when they brought in David Craig?
For
Daniel
Craig.
for James Bond.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Why did I pick David Craig? Daniel Craig for James Bond. Previously, we had Pierce Brosnan. He's my Bond. He's the one I grew up with. Do I hate Daniel Craig for being in a new role? No, because characters get older. Actors get older.
Actually, speaking of
it's
most
passing
people,
the torch. You get the same character, just a different face.
yeah.
It's not always the same character though, because each Bond has their own take on the way they perform. Like, you know,
But
Connery
It's the same character, it's the same embodiment, just different ways of
showing it.
I think Dalton's is probably one of the best though, because until Daniel Craig came along, he was the only James Bond that gave us a more vulnerable human Bond.
Yeah.
Until Craig came along.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think that the one thing I really want to bring up is in this story is I think, like you said at the beginning. At the beginning, to be honest, it was very. I think the first few minutes of it, it's very sort of light-hearted. I would say a lot of the lines it sort of leads on to more jokey moments, like it's very comedic and lots of sarcasm and silly bits. But
Talking to the dinosaur.
Yeah, talk to the dinosaur, but and Strax being Strax, of course. Is take your hat, it's my hair. Blah, blah, all that stuff. But then by the time it gets to the whole thing of when Clara meets up with the Doctor again after stealing
Jab's clothes.
Yeah, and it involves more about actually one thing I should bring up is then there's a scene where there's two couples walking up and saying, that's a fake dinosaur, and it's the first time I get to see the clockwork droids are back. And again, that actor, the one that he says, I like your eye, that's actually the bloke from Mongrels, actually. Just a funny little shout out. The guy who gets his eye took out, the publer. It's the pub guy from Mongrels, but anyway, the clockwork droids are back, and
Morgan will be happy to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but generally, I think the stuff with the clockwork androids is. I mean, from your point of view, what did you think of them? I mean, did you know it was them to begin off with?
I had a suspicion. It had a suspicion. Like, is the last time we had something that looked like clockwork or something like with gears?
Or something
it was back in that.
Go to the fireplace.
I would say Nightmare and something. Then
it's all right.
I always thought, when I saw them in the trailer and as the episode was progressing, I just thought they were an original villain. I completely forgot about the girl in the fireplace until it was hinted at.
Yeah, but it looks like they've been redoing themselves. Like, now they've got like metal castings like the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
so it's not the same group.
Yeah.
It's not the same group of clockworks.
It's like the Clockwork Droids, the second edition.
It's like an older version because the other one looked like inside a
plastic
clock. Inside a clock. This one looks like very Romanesque or steampunk.
Yeah, definitely. When he takes the face off and it's just a metal. It's like a metal cross with a bit of flame behind it.
In a way, they kind of remind me of the 10th Planet Cybermen, where they were, the additional elements are just like, inconsistent body parts, like reassembled. They appeared to be just nothing more than survivors in a way, who were just like putting new parts on here and there just to survive.
Yeah, they get one hand. That's different.
Yeah, I never knew that. People are bringing it up now. So the 10th Planet Cybermen. Okay.
And even though a lot of people laugh at them for being low budget, I always think those Cybermen were much scarier because, with the clothy faces and that, that could just be some sort of strange silver. The 10th Planet Cybermen, if you think of the voice and the way they've got like humanistic mouths and real life hands, they look far more organic. And I think that's what makes it even more disturbing because, even recently, like I was saying with Nikki once, the new Cybermen designs are just really no good because they look more like robots. Like those Cybermen from...
Like SWAT bots, really.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell what they are. They are the SWAT bots from Sonic Underground and Sonic Sat AM. But...
Yeah, there he is.
The 10th Planet Cybermen... Oh yes, there he is. Hello. But the 10th Planet Cybermen appeared far more organic, and I'm hoping that when they change designs in the future, the Cybermen will appear more like that. But that's what I'm trying to say about the design that Nikki's just shown us then. That is what they are. They look more like organic survivors, even though unlike Cybermen, which started off as people, these were robots. They're basically complete reversals. Instead of humans turning more into robots, these are machines turning into people. And that is...
And assimilating different parts of a human by organ harvesting.
That is no less disturbing. In fact...
Yeah, but one thing is that, and it rolls around the actual title episode, Deep Breath, is that they don't breathe. And that's one big hint, especially when Dr. Miss Clara... And that's that. We don't have an answer to that yet, but I guarantee that'll be the whole crux of the series.
That will be the thread.
Well, the whole thing is the proper...
Just like Bad Wolf or The Crack.
Yeah. And is that the robots don't breathe, obviously. So when they know there's a wind rustling, put the sensors on, and that's the whole suspenseful thing, and when the Doctor just abandons Clara.
Yeah.
After getting
I want to admit the moment where
he's stuck inside a Clockwork restaurant.
The scene where she was holding her breath was really shocking as well, because...
Yeah, especially when it goes to the first person, you just see flashes on the side. They could have done that better, because that reminds me of a video game.
I was a bit confused why they did it. At first, was he trying to losing conscience, or, because when you hold your breath...
If you look at the fact that she's holding her breath for so long, she's actually starting to cry. Her eyes are watering.
Oh, yeah, she does, yeah.
Yeah, so the flashes on the side and the colour is just passing out. Mind
you,
little kids don't do it because just don't.
I
recall one guy one person who's like, yeah, when you go through a tunnel, you have to hold your breath. It's a superstition. One guy did it, passed out, caused a car crash.
Don't do it, otherwise it will be you.
And you have to go to hospital.
But nobody wants to pay for those bills.
Sorry.
The scene I liked was the moment where she's literally standing in front of it, the main Clockwork man, and literally saying, do it. It's like, if you do not answer, we'll kill you. And she does the whole, your threats mean nothing. And she has the whole thing, she thinks the Doctor's right behind her, or she has the whole bit where she's putting her hand out, and she's generally afraid that she's completely alone. And then the whole bit where you think, oh, he's there. Oh, shit, it's the robot. Oh, wait, no, he took the face. Oh, God.
bit obvious trickery. But yeah,
I will admit...
actually outsmarting a robot, because the robot can only do is threaten you. It's like, I will kill you. Right? Kill me, you won't get the information. We'll torture you.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting better. Still not going to tell you anything.
Then again, that just shows, like, how it's not Cyberman. Like, it is still a robot. It isn't capable of following through.
Human emotion, really. It's basic logistics, really. Yeah. It all goes from programming. But even then, for a basic clockwork, or steampunk, in this case, I think it's steampunk or just heat.
Yeah.
It's got gears, not, whatever. I'll just say clockwork.
Let's just call it Gears of Boar.
No, that's the actual game, not this.
Yeah.
I said Gears of Boar. Not. Oh wait, no. Sorry, I know what you mean.
Actually, the weird thing. One thing I found about this episode, because. One thing I found about this episode, particularly, I looked at behind the scenes stuff and whatever. In fact, we've got a replacement somewhat for Doctor Who Confidential, which is called Doctor Who Extra. It's like on the iPlayer and Red Button now. And one thing you find out is the way they did the Clockwork Man was obviously an actor, prosthetic, and actually animatronic. Actually, some shots where it's actually close up on you can see like that human eyeball and that metal cage edge of the skull. That's actually a fully animatronic head, actually. And I thought it's like, oh, they probably did the CG with the clockworks, but it actually isn't. It's all these different techniques put together, which again, on first viewing, I didn't know that. And again, that's one thing I definitely love about New Who is now you can't tell at times when the visual effects, which is what's real, what isn't real, or what's possibly there or isn't there. Again, still from a, Doctor Who's still got a strong visual effect wise, and in every terms, it's still very strong.
I was wondering what Blur would do if they were hired for the CG.
Can I just say your webcam's frozen, Nikki?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's just on your end.
He's moving. He's moving.
Really? All I've got is this.
Anyway, he's moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you got a whole. Then goes on the confrontation between the Doctor and this robot, and you realise,
and the whole
this is not the same Doctor you think. Where he becomes a lot more
menacing.
Serious. Yeah.
Yeah, but before we go into that, we have to very quickly acknowledge that there was a hot air balloon made out of human skin.
Yeah, that happened. I was actually worried it was going to be a giant boob. I don't know why I felt of that, but I just had this a giant boob. I don't know why.
Oh, with all that skin, it might as well have been.
Yeah.
Allow me to quote what Morgan said when he discovered the skin balloon.
Go on.
A single word, and I think it sums up the whole situation completely, and I think it sums up everything that we would have said in our minds when we saw it. Ew.
Yeah, I did. I've actually, to be honest, I thought the idea of it was more scary than actually when I saw it for real, but...
It is actually very disturbing, but still, ew.
Yeah. Mm.
A hot air balloon made out of human skin.
Yeah. Actually, if it was me, I would have made...
Do you know what the worst thing is, though?
What?
That would actually operate. It would actually work.
It would work.
Yeah. The human skin can actually stretch. It can hold together.
Yeah.
That is actually a really harrowing thought, now that I think about it.
Is it Doctor Who's not totally unbelievable?
That's how I'm Clockwork People, but anyway.
And the fact that the Doctor keeps meeting doppelgangers of himself.
But anyway, Doctor's confrontation with the Clockwork leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories that people have had about this one, and I have ideas of my own, and it's one of those things that's open to the audience that they never officially answer within the episode, and I quite like it. Because the Doctor's going through this whole talk about can the robot throw himself out of the balloon to his death, or will the Doctor push him? Now, we just see the robot falling and then getting impaled on that
no, we don't
tower.
see. All we see is the hat falling off near Big Ben, and then the camera pans up and we see him impaled. And I actually like that. I like the fact you didn't see him drop out. You just see it. It happened, but you don't see the actual thing.
To be perfectly honest with you, I like to believe that the Doctor was the one who pushed him, but I like the fact
that one of us is lying, and he says,
Yeah.
"You're right."
I do like the fact that we don't get told directly which one it was, only that it happened, but I do like to believe in the back of my mind that it was the Doctor, because, the Doctor is compassionate, but when it comes to robots and Cybermen, when it comes to robots and Cybermen, the Doctor really doesn't give a shit about killing them. Earthshock's a prime factor to that, but...
Yeah, that's when the gold was something.
Yeah.
No, he was even using their blasters against them.
But it's a whole moral thing of what, for him, if you push him too far, he will be that menacing, the thing with the Doctor.
Yeah, at the same time, though, earlier, the Doctor actually told him the view's great, isn't it? And he turns to say, I don't have any opinion.
To that.
He says, you look at it, you got so many, you can change every single human, you actually have becoming more human, what do you think? And he says, the view is marvellous. So is a robot still a robot, or is he becoming more human? Did he actually commit suicide because of what he did, or what he wanted to be, because he's looking for the promised land?
Because that's the thing we should really talk about, is possibly because at the end of the episode, he's in some beautiful garden, this sort of Mary Poppins-like lady is saying, "Oh, you're here at last." And it's like, where am I? It's like, don't you know? This is the promised land. And again, obviously this is going to be a big thing, because I've seen that woman, because there was a picture of him and the Doctor in London with a bunch of Cybermen right behind him, so we know she's going to be a big factor for this series.
Yeah, Jack does spark a lot of debate. My first thought is, is it that is it a Rani? Because
I'm really hoping it's the Rani. I really am.
be.
We've had the Master.
B, is it a female version of the Doctor? Because when she spun the umbrella she had like the Seventh Doctor.
Yeah. She actually
Yeah,
just say, "Oh, my boy has. He's a really nasty boy, hasn't he?"
Yes, but considering that the Doctor has only just regenerated, I think we can rule that one out, that Moffat is hinting at a future female Doctor, because that would be kind of silly. That would be saying that Capaldi's role is going to be much shorter to give this woman a chance to be the Doctor. I don't buy that one. And the other theory that people have that I especially don't buy, and if it's true, I'm going to fucking kill Moffat, is that if this turns out to be a regenerated River Song, I swear to God, she's Matt Smith's companion. That ship has sailed. I really don't want to see River Song again.
Well,
she's dead. She's dead. Okay.
Well, she's technically the first time we meet her, she's dead anyway.
Yeah, first time we meet her, she's dead. Then we learn her she's a kid. She was taken as a kid, put in a suit. Fair enough. Then she regenerated in New York, and the next time we hear about her is she's Mel, who she said last time it happened it was in New York.
Yeah.
So we can do that. Then she regenerated into the River Song we know.
Yeah.
And she used all regeneration, so it's not fucking possible.
So it's not.
There is no way in hell.
Not fucking not. And again, it's like her story has sort of been finished anyway, because really her story's been out of order anyway.
Like I said, I'm sure we can rule that one out. So it's either the Doctor's mother, because there was that unanswered thing.
The lady in Gallifrey.
Or it's the
I think that lady could have not just been Ramona, it could have been Susan for all we know.
Could have been Susan, or it could have even been Romana.
You would.
Oh yeah, Romana.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, that's a good point. It could be Romana. I'm going to rule out that it can't really be Susan, because
She's on Earth.
Carol Ann Ford is still alive, and Carol Ann Ford can act. And considering she was in a relationship with a human being, you could argue that Susan would age. But so if it was Susan, Carol Ann Ford would surely play her. I think this is either the Rani or it's Romana. If it's neither, then I'd like to find out who it is. But it cannot be. It cannot be a female Doctor, and it cannot be River Song. But one thing that would really
I was actually referring to the woman in the End of Time.
Yeah, the End of Time.
But this one could.
the Doctor's mother.
This one could more than likely be.
Or Romana, I said actually. That's.
Yeah, more than likely this one could be the Rani.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it is, because the Rani was like a crazy scientist that really did not believe in the word stop. Like, she put Einstein in a machine along with like all the experts of the entire universe to try and create something really crazy or something.
Basically put their intellect into one mind.
That's it.
Yeah.
Eventually destroy our planet just to get something. But yeah.
And then she worked with the Master at one point in the Mark of the Rani. I don't remember what her big grand scheme was, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But
anyway, getting back onto Deep Breath, because we keep going on tangents.
Yeah, we are.
We have just Whovians in and out right now.
Yeah.
We just love talking about Doctor Who and what
dweeks. We are not fucking dweeks, and I emphasize that. Dweeks is not a real fucking word.
What the fuck is a dweek?
Oh,
DW of Doctor Who with geek. Oh, dweek.
Oh.
We're a dweek. I like Doctor Who. No, it's called Whovian.
No.
It is Whovian.
What is the definition of dweek? I mean, why?
It's basically Doctor Who geek. That's what it means. It's Doctor Who geek. No, that's not a real fucking word. Whovian is a real fucking word. It's in the fucking dictionary. It means a person who is fanatic about Doctor Who. Dweek is just a hipster word to try and sound different, in which case, go fuck yourself, because it's not. It's Whovian. Okay, I just want to get it out, just to all little kids who call themselves dweeks and kind of walk across a fire pit.
They're more like dweebs.
Yeah. Actually, I want to bring this up.
Score one for the good guys.
Yeah, this will get at least back into Deep Breath, because one thing that was sort of leaked out earlier on was there was the scene of Clara talking to the 11th Doctor.
Yeah, I saw that once. Yeah.
I didn't know the whole scene. I knew it was happening, but when it came back in the episode, thinking, it's that scene that's coming up, and
yeah, that was so well done.
Yeah.
That
I
is
think
one of the
even-
best things. They've never done that in a post-regeneration story before, and I really love that because after the criticisms that the criticisms that the fangirls were giving Capaldi, this episode needed that, and it was so perfectly timed. There was no better way than to do it.
It was actually filmed.
That's what I said with Clara being the human relation. That's what it is. Like, I don't like the Doctor. He got a different face. Is he the same Doctor? And we had to have the past Doctor say, "It's still me."
Yeah.
If you look through the face, it's still me. I'm still the Doctor. I just look different.
And then even after the call where she's like upset, like she's still referring to the Doctor that she knew on the phone as him. To which Capaldi calls her out saying, "It's not him. It's me. That was me on the phone."
Didn't he say?
Could you just look at my face and could you just do me a favor and see me? And what does she do? She sees him.
Gives him a hug, although he did say he's probably not the hugging type, but whatever. But I do like
that'll change a lot of stuff.
That was actually quite funny. I'm not exactly the hugging type.
Yeah. But again,
I'm still looking forward to tomorrow's episode.
Yeah, I am. I mean, to be honest, you can play the. Actually, I want to bring this up. You complain you don't like the new Cybermen. I mean, I'm still waiting to see when they're going to bring the new bloody Daleks because they don't seem to care at all.
Yeah, the Paradigm Daleks.
Yeah, those
ones.
Yeah, these ones. Yeah.
I think that's just one of those cases of.
I know, but
no, they appeared in the Sound of the Daleks as the drones at the back. But even so, it's like, oh, they hate them, so let's just write them out. It's like, no, bring them back. They were emphasized. There's the Supreme, the Doctor, the drone,
Eternal.
I think
I can't remember the other two.
I think
the red ones are drones.
I think they worked against those ones because it's sort of giving the Daleks more human-esque kind of jobs, and the Daleks hate everything that isn't Dalek. So unless they're exactly,
it's like a high level of Dalek. Because even back in like when the Daleks Civil War and Remnants of the Daleks, there was like the
Imperial Daleks,
the pure Daleks, and the what are you one called?
Imperial Daleks. Well, there's like the Supreme Daleks and the Imperial Daleks. That's
there you go.
Yeah, there's Davros's Daleks, and then there's the Emperor's Daleks.
Yeah.
I think those could be a different order. Those could be part of the Emperor's Dalek, a different paradigm. Because the other Emperor just went insane and made hybrids.
Yeah. Although I'll probably leave this rant. I might do this rant maybe until after the story's done. But I do want to bring this point up again because it's something that kind of annoys me still. But I'll leave it for another time.
Leave it for the tomorrow's episode, which we'll do again. Next podcast will be a week's time. Because right now we've got a week for the episode to settle.
Yeah.
At least that way we can just do. Okay.
But in the end, I think we can generally say that at least Deep Breaths is a start.
I want to say very quickly, I might not be able to attend the next podcast because I will be in Anglesey.
We'll get Junior.
Yeah, get Junior, and I'll be able to make it back for Robot of Sherwood.
All right.
Sarah, either one.
I'm sure as hell not going to miss Robot of Sherwood.
The Robin Hood.
I love Robin Hood, and just the fact that the Doctor is going to meet Robin Hood is that is good enough for me.
It's written by Mark Gatiss.
Okay, I was going to say, to be a pretentious arsehole, out of 5 stars, what would you rate this episode?
I would say...
I'm going to say 4.
Actually,
yeah, it did have a bad start, but it really got there once they got in the restaurant.
I say 4 as well. It's just dragged on a bit long.
Yeah, actually, I want to bring this up. I'll make this the last thing, because I got this in this is the Culture magazine you get in the Sunday Times, and there was a review of it, particularly about the first episode. Let's get it. Oh, here we are. Okay, so here's a review, and the thing. The very first thing you see is this heading saying, "I don't think we can save this Doctor Who," right? And then, first of all, it's actually got this wonderful image. I think that's a great image, though.
Oh, that is cool.
That's much better than the previous one, where it just goes to like Tennant to Smith in the faces.
He's handing over the screwdriver.
Yeah. Again,
that's cool.
And I want to bring this up because basically what this guy keeps talking about is keeps saying, Oh my god, what have they done to Doctor Who? This is just ridiculous and silly. I won't go through the whole thing because it's a bit of a rant. It's a bit of a snobby. It's one of those snobby reviews saying, "Oh, I don't think of this as high art. I think this is just."
Monocle, cop.
Okay, yes,
You know that
that's sort of shit.
on the classic Doctor Who DVDs, they've got this thing called Tomorrow's Times. Every critic was doing that in the newspapers back then.
Yeah, I mean,
It's nothing new. So, previous topic. Be honest with yourself. Don't try and be negative to get views. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's been done to death.
And that's why Mr. TARDIS is as popular as he is. It's because he just loves to be negative constantly.
Yeah, the problem is he's basically saying the Doctor Who's turning into just a stupid show, or in his view he's thinking Peter Capaldi is not going to save the show, which is like, what? And this is just, first of all, this is just after one episode, right?
I love how he's saying
save...
No, my favorite... Sorry to interrupt. My favorite part there is where he said it's not going to save the show. Last time I checked, the show wasn't in financial difficulty and it wasn't on the verge of cancellation, so what's there to save?
Yeah, what is there to save? It's actually highest it ever fucking has been. Never.
It's
ever
actually
since also the 50th anniversary.
They couldn't
That was a big deal.
They couldn't make Doctor Who popular in America for 26 years, and now all of a sudden they have. There is no way that this show is going to be cancelled. I think this show could last another 26 years before cancellation will even be considered.
Yeah.
Even there, we'll probably have a year or a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah.
For let things settle and bring something back.
Yeah.
It would probably be
I doubt it'll be any. Look, fucking EastEnders has our Coronation Street has over 1,000 episodes, and it's still going. Doctor Who, yeah, sci-fi, but through sci-fi you could be wherever the fuck you want it to be. Going in the past, you can still add sci-fi to it. This is why I prefer sci-fi over fantasy, because fantasy have a strict guidelines of rules.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
the first reason why I couldn't get the Lord of the Rings is like it's just very typical. I will watch it.
Sort of medieval times, knights.
Yeah, it's kind of you got your goblins, you got your wizards, you got your orcs, you got your fuzzy things, whatever.
But
at least sci-fi, you can sci-fi you can do
Okay.
wild as you fucking want.
Just from
You want a chick with 3 tits? Go for it.
Yeah, but with fantasy you can still do what you want because you can create all kinds of mythical creatures, except that in science fiction you just call them aliens, whereas in fantasy you just call them monsters.
Yeah.
Or you can call them whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's no different from bizarre creatures they create in Zelda. It's no different.
I keep referring to it as Tolkien fantasy because that's what it technically is. When I say fantasy, I'm like, oh, I have a fantasy of doing da 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 da. You know, fantasy is not elves, wizards, and dwarves.
Yeah,
Give
but
me anything you want.
I don't understand why it doesn't work for you because Legolas looks exactly like Link.
I think in film. I think it's just in film. I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure.
Actually, my friend said.
I think it was Zelda. It's like it works slightly differently.
I think we'll just. I don't think we'll go any further with that one. I think you just need to see the films and then give your rating. Your honest rating.
Mike, even so, I can be hypocritical. I don't like Grand Theft Auto, but I like Saints Row. I just had that hypocritical thing.
It just depends how they do it. I think at the end of the day, it's the way you do it. You can have the same idea and the same sort of setting, but the way you do it is the most important thing.
Anyway, back to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You haven't given it a 5. You haven't given it a 5-star rating yet.
I have. I said 4.
I
would give it probably like a maybe. For me, I probably would give it a 3.5, maybe 4. You know, I've only watched it once since the day there, so I might have to rewatch it. But you know, I was entertained by it. That was the most important thing. At least I was entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Nash said. Even if the episode's bad, it's still more entertaining than what's on television at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, what else are you going to watch? TMZ?
Oh,
Bam!
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, I was thinking like Cowboy Builders, really, because that's what I've been watching recently.
Or the Great British Break Off. Oh god, there's another one. Actually, I'll bring this up. This is one of the.
Oh, the ice cream thing, yeah.
The thing that scared actually just before Doctor Who came back on, they actually had there was an advert for they had this glittery ball. It's back. Oh no, not Strictly Come Dancing, not again. Oh please God, no.
Even though they just cancelled it. No. They just said that it's ended for good, and then all of a sudden it's come back.
Oh, I'm just saying anything. I'd rather watch any episode.
They said the same with Big Brother, it's still fucking going.
Yeah, Channel 5 are desperate.
I can't believe they said, okay, Big Brother is now officially cancelled. Next week, Big Brother!
They did that with Blake 7, actually. Believe it or not, they've transmitted the last episode of season 3, then somebody at the end say, and Blake 7 will return, and everybody will be like, what? And they had to say, did you see that final episode? Yeah, we're all coming back to do a job.
Anyway, I
I
think
know they probably just ended up repeating the first series and
No.
fucked off all the actors, perhaps.
If we ever talk about Blake 7, I've got to tell you some of the funny things in that show.
I'll have to see the show, actually.
Anyway, so all in agreement, like, deep breath, good introduction, bit lengthy.
There were a couple bits that didn't work for me, but overall, it did really kick off halfway through, so yeah, it's a winner for me.
At the end of the day, it's just an introduction episode. They're not always the best, but they're there just to get people back into Who, and then once it's done, then we can really get back into the true full throttle gear that is Doctor Who. So definitely, I'm looking forward to Into the Dalek.
So, see you in a week's time on Into the Dalek, minus Mike.
But I will still somehow leave you with an opinion. So you can at least acknowledge to people...
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out, at least.
Yeah.
You can at least acknowledge the opinion of a
You'll
guy
You'll post a blog online, I'll link into it.
Well, considering I am sort of hit and miss with the Daleks as beings on Doctor Who overall, because they are the most defeatable enemy in the entire history of the show, it's really got to work for me, basically.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just, if it's a good Dalek story, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Yes. Okay then.
See you in a week's time. Into the Dalek.